There we go.
There we are. You're live.
We're live. And I do this one because your meditations are so good. I put them like on my personal page and stuff too. I figure
Oh,
you're not
nice.
gonna I figure you're not gonna say anything too personal. You're not gonna, talk about your deep, darkest fantasies, which could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, not today.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't put you through that. Oh, how was your day? I love your
Good.
necklace.
Better than yesterday. So today calmed down and it was nice and smooth and quiet.
Why did it calm down? Like, did something
Yesterday,
happen?
no, yesterday was just a mess. Where
Hmm.
it was a Monday, a bunch of things all happened at once. So today, all those things are done. We're just back to a nice even keel, which I prefer.
I appreciate that more and more as I get older. I'm like, no, I want to get into the rhythm of things. That's what's been weird about all this meditation. I'm telling you, I'm talking to all these women, and it's like there's this secret. And the secret is, yeah, I'm doing ritual and ceremony. I'm just not telling anybody about it. And I'm doing a lot of it. I'm just not talking much about it. We're all doing this, our own form of prayer or ritual or magic or ceremony. And more women are being called to doing it. And because it works, because it gets us in alignment with the flow of what's underneath it. And like what you said, one of the things I always liked about Jennie is she's super practical and pragmatic. And so you've been testing for years whether this spirit stuff was true or not. Whether if you're in
Right.
alignment, you listen, whether it's a bunch of hocus pocus or if it actually means something. And I want to tell you, I think about that a lot. When I'm doing my meditation and I'm pulling this tarot card and it couldn't possibly be the same thing as that was over there, and this was, I mean, just the coincidences are too in tune for me not to be like, this is weird, over and over and over and over and over and over, like a million times, like every time I say. And I virtually now it is every time I ask a question, I'm like, but prove it to me that this is real.
And every time the universe is like, here, hold my beer. You want to see the proof? Here we go.
It
Do, do, do,
does.
do, do. Yep. Because that's actually, I think, one of the things people don't understand is intuition and tuning into these things is a natural state of being. It's like, your sixth sense. It's just that nobody uses it. It's just like how butterflies and birds and everything use that inner thing to navigate home every season, right? That they migrate. It's not magic. It's something that physically happens in their little brains or in their chemical makeup. And this is the same thing. It's not supernatural. We've made it something supernatural. It's actually completely normal and natural. It's just that people have forgotten how to utilize it. And there's this big surge with people being told, to remember who you are and to take back your own personal power. And when people do that, then I think they see that this is a normal thing. Like this is how people were meant to exist, to gather information and to utilize all their senses, not just their five typical normal senses.
Hmm. I mean, I'm finding that I really am, where the more time I spend meditating and connecting with something bigger than me, the better solutions to bigger problems I get. Like, one of the things I wanted to do today was write an email to someone who status wise is way above me, would be considered my mentor or someone who's one of my teachers. And I'm asking them for a favor because I want to further the connection and the relationship. And instead of saying, oh, I don't want to do this, or well, I'll just write something and it'll be fine, or obsessing over it a million times and I don't know. Instead, I meditated through it. I put my little crystal crown on and I had the music on and I've got my candle and I'm doing things in a way that's very intentional for me. Like, okay, I want to use this rock. I want to put this candle here. Just, very intuitively and very intentionally for what I want to do. And I sat there for 20, 30 minutes. And when I was done, I had the perfect answer. I had the solution to what I was going to write in the email, why I was going to write it that way, what it was going to look like, what I was going to ask for. Because I gave myself that time with my crystals and my essential oils and my candles and connecting with spirit, which to me is intuition, connected
Well,
in with
and
that. And when I connected in with that, it's like the solution appeared.
the great thing about that is that's the perfect way to start this process, because what you're doing is you're taking time to listen and you're saying, this is going to be my time and I'm going to listen. And that's where we get the information. The even better thing is that at some point, that part of it, once you learn how to listen, that part of it, the beginning stages, the setting the intention, the creating this environment, becomes less important, and you just learn how to tune in because now you've learned how to listen. So this is great for when you're starting and you're wanting to learn how to listen, and you're making it like, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to take 20 minutes and I'm going to listen. And as you train yourself to do that, you begin to notice the different, when the ideas pop in your head and they seem like the perfect idea, you begin to recognize all the signs of when information is coming in. And it gets to a point then where, like, I'm driving here and information is coming in while the radio's playing and I'm just watching the highway ahead of me, right? Like, I don't have to create that space because now that space exists all the time and I'm just listening. And I can stop what I'm doing and tune in, get the information, got it, and then go back to, and that's where you get to, is that space where you can use what you've learned and just let it come in.
I really like doing things the way that I'm doing them because it feels as if my body is really enjoying it. Like my body
You're working on the reward system.
My body loves the smells and the colors and the textures and the thinking about it and the immersing it's like a spa for me. And the hardest part is letting go of the guilt.
Right. So that's your incentive. That's your reward system. You're saying to yourself, listen, I need to tune in, but in order to make it beneficial for me, I'm going to light these candles. I'm going to smell these smells. I'm going to set this mood. And that's going to be my little reward.
I'm going on a date with myself.
Right. That's going to be my little reward for listening to, my intuition or the universe or my messages or whatever. So you're setting yourself up so that even if you feel like, well, I don't really feel like I got any information, but I still had a super pleasant 30 minutes of listening and smelling and relaxing and taking time out. So you're working on that perfect reward system where there's a benefit to you, even if you don't think it is. And that's what's training you to want to do it more, to get in the habit, is that you're constantly rewarding yourself with these little perks.
Well, and I find that I really do think more clearly when I've got brainwave entrainment music, keeping my thoughts really grounded. When I've got the right sounds and the right anchoring, it reminds me of a ceremony I did in when I went to Colombia. And it was a pretty powerful ceremony. And one of the side effects is that people were supposed to puke and get diarrhea. And I did not want that experience at all.
No.
I am
not intentionally.
Not intentionally at all. But how terrible. So before the ceremony, I went around and put things as anchors. I put my anchors, my connections to the people that I respected, and I did it super intentionally, and I felt good about it. And I had a really good experience. And I didn't puke, and I didn't have diarrhea, and I dreamed of butterflies. And it was a beautiful experience because I was thoughtful about what I wanted to experience, what I wanted to learn. And you've told me about this before. You know, you're like, no, you can just be very thoughtful and very specific about what you want, and you don't have to mess around with all of this extraneous information that doesn't interest you. You know,
Right.
you can just go right to the source.
Yeah, I mean, it for some people, they like the whole pattern of it, to get in the mood, to get your senses, to say, to pencil it in and give yourself the time. And then you're also setting your intention, and you're saying, I'm doing this because I want something good for myself. And when you do that, you also take away any fear that's attached to what you might hear, or what you might see, or what you might feel. And when you let go of that fear, then you allow just the information to show through. And the information is going to show through to you for your highest and greatest good. And if you believe that, and if you trust in that, then you know that there's nothing harmful attached to that. It's just, this is what you need to hear. This is what you need to learn. This is what you need to see. Enjoy. And then if you add those things around it, then you're just making that experience that much more compelling for you to keep listening. And that's what intuition is just going in and listening, stopping our chatter and just seeing what other, like that, like the birds migrating. It's just out there. It's just the information. We're just going in and grabbing it. Anybody can grab it if they're willing to just take the time to go in and listen to it. It's all there.
Right. And that's what I'm finding. And when I take the time to do that, my body's changing too. It's letting go of all these old past patterns, and it's getting into alignment. It's physically getting into alignment. It's pretty neat to watch it happen. So a lot of my physical issues are just clearing themselves up the more time I take to spend in that meditation time, because my body's able to process through, it's able to, sort things, put it in the right file folder, and everything's releasing, that was held, wondering,
And that's why your intuition is getting stronger too, because you truly have to be in a balanced, good place to be able to listen in. And there's a lot of people that don't take that time or don't bother to figure out their background stuff. And they might still get information, but it's so filtered through all their other traumas and dramas that are going on that the information is skewed because they haven't cleared those filters out of the way. You have to be grounded. You have to be based in reality. We are here on the planet. We're human, and that's a role that you have to stick to. And as much as you might want to go, play with the fairies and go off into Never Land, you still got to come back and be a human if you want to exist here. And unfortunately, if you're here, you have to exist here. Unless you want to be hospitalized.
Yes, you have to live in the world which we live in.
Right.
Okay, this was awesome. Thanks for helping wrap up the end of the day. I have to jump off. I've got another call.
Okay. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, Jenny.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.